Y'all, it is your boy Noonsford back at it again with another video. This video was actually supposed to be the big three of Webtoon and me like talking about it, but I just felt like recording this video first, so it's probably gonna come out first. Sorry, but it just be like that sometimes. The Bleach Isekai videos will be coming out like in a week or two, bro, as well, because I do want to do that as well. But let me not waste too much time and let me just dive into this video. So this video is going to be about Ichigo, and well, you can basically scale Ichigo in this arc to a lot of the characters that you would want to scale, such as Toshiro, such as Gin, such as Byakuya, Yamamoto, Shinsui, Yushiro, etc. So, with that being said, last video with the Espada, I started off with power, so this time, it's time to start off with speed. Alright, so obviously there's the lower end things, like the one statement in the data book about Ichigo being like lightning and fighting Byakuya. However, like lightning doesn't mean your actual lightning speed. You can't argue this, however, it's not right, and I don't recommend you doing this. Because instead, we have the light speed meta. So, we have a few calcs to get them to light speed. Toshiro has a calc against Gin that's 2.1 times the speed of light. So, alright, if you're in this captain tier, you could be around light speed 2 times light speed. There's a calc for Lieutenant Shinsui. Oh wow, I said Lieutenant Shinsui, fake fan. Lieutenant Shuhei, 69 tat if you don't remember. Lieutenant Shins, oh my god, I always get them mixed up, that's just my bad. But Lieutenant Shuhei, he's completely drained by Yumi Chika and he still has a relativistic calc. So we have a relativistic calc at a drained lieutenant and we have a 2.1 calc for a captain. But there's also some other calcs. There's a calc for Ichigo dodging Byakuya's blade that was point blank. That coming out to 4%, not 4%, but 40% the speed of light. 0.4 being 40%, 0.04 would have been 4%. We would not like that. We rather like the relativistic, like high end. Hey, but let me stop joking. So we have relativistic for Ichigo at that point. There's a calc that I personally made for Ichigo deflecting Byakuya's petals. At low end, it should be 30 times the speed of light. At high end, it should be 100, but even these are slight lowball since I didn't factor in the entire length of Ichigo's arm. So in all honesty, it should more so be 150, 200, even like even higher. But well, we won't get with that. Like 30 to 100. So high end, if you're at this Ichigo tier, Ichigo being a captain plus tier fighter at this point, then you're like, okay, we're getting into that. A little bit high into the speed of light. We're not just relativistic. We're not just base 2 times light speed. We're getting to the 30s to the 100s. So I'm like, okay, this is where we're actually eating. We're actually eating at this point, okay? And in moving on past the finite speed, I'll get into the immeasurable speed. If you did stick around in the Espada video, you would have gotten this and you would have gotten some other things. But easily enough, in the start of the arc, like honestly, like if you want to say that it just starts when they like pop into the Soul Society at the start of the arc there, when they're running through the Dawn Guy literally is, it's stated to be a disconnected time and space, which when the cleaner chases you, it's going to knock you off your time maxes. And they literally went 7 days into the past by being chased by the cleaner, but not actually getting hit by the cleaner. So they don't have any sort of resistance because they're actually going into the past, like physically, like they literally just don't have a resistance. It's pretty blatant right here. And also in the FKT arc, Fake Heart Town arc, we literally see that it's arcing. So not only is it non-linear, they literally go into the past, but they're still moving forward. Logically, it should be, alright, if time is going in reverse, you should be moving in reverse. So they should be actually moving towards the cleaner. It should be like, alright, we're going forward at this point, since at like, let's say 1 minute passes, right? We run a mile in 1 minute. At 30 seconds, we're at half the mile, right? So honestly, if they didn't have this kind of speed, at 30 seconds, they should have been right there. However, obviously they're not. So obviously they should have immeasurable speed from this. It's blatantly not a resistance because you're literally not resisting it. They're literally going back in time because of this. So pretty blatant that it's not a resistance. So if you do want to argue that, you could get them to immeasurable speed. So there is that. So you know, you want to argue it, sure, like yeah, light speed as well. Like, you can argue lightning speed, but I would not recommend it. So moving on to AP. So there are a few things we have. we have multi-city block. One, you can argue it from the last arc, the Menos Grande. It actually should be around multi-city block or city block, depending on how you scale like Fodder Hollows. Fodder Hollows, if you're like, all right, they're building level on average, then there would be multi-city block. If you're like, well, they're wall level, wall plus, then they're more so at this city block level. So you can argue that for them. There's also the multi-city block, like feat Kenpachi has. It's like pretty casual. That is just swings his sword, and that's a multi-city block level feat right there. So you could argue like those two for around multi-city block. There's also 2 calcs for mountain level. One is for Toshiro with the clouds that he created. It was calced out to mountain level. And there's also 1 calc at Sokyoku Hill with Sajin. This coming out to mountain level as well. So obviously, since we mentioned the Sogyoku, and if you were here in the last video, you'll probably know what's going up. But so the Sogyoku. So the Sogyoku in Aizen's letter to Momo was said to be able to have the power to destroy the Soul Society. Even Toshiro questioned this, like, how much of this was fabricated? Was the power of the Sogyoku fabricated? Like, he's literally just questioning it. So we have Aizen's letter saying it. Toshiro's like, was it accurate? So it's like he's questioning if it is possible. So it should at least be in the realm of possibility, because he's like, was this actually like part of it that was fake? And then we have in the guidebook it being said that it can overwhelm everything in existence. And obviously you would think at the start it's like, okay, it can actually just overwhelm like everybody in the verse. Like Yamamoto, boom, hit with a Sogyoku, that man dead. One shot, GG no re. However, it's definitely not meant to be interpreted like that. Like, Ichigo blocks it, and I'm not sure if y'all remember this, but Ichigo gets choke slammed by like these Captain Plus Tier 5. He gets choke slammed, so it's definitely not meant. Oh, you know what? Let me just pop it up. Boom. Yeah, so Ichigo directly gets choke slammed. Like, it's pretty bad. So it's definitely not meant to be interpreted like this. So another way that you can interpret this is that actually being like, okay, everything within existence. So this can either mean, all right, if you take Soul Society, him only referring to it as planetary, so okay, he could be planetary, or he could be universal, everything in existence, so the entire realm, so possibly universal. It's easier to say a planet level because in the very next arc, in base, Ichigo doesn't train, by the way. Like, in the time between these 2 arcs, there's no evidence that he did train or anything of the sort. He literally ran away from Kenpachi, bro. He didn't want to. Like, we just have no evidence, right? He literally is clashing with Shinji, and he's like, yo, calm down there, buckaroo. Your spiritual pressure, my guy, is you're gonna hear that across the world, my G. Calm down. So, pretty easy. All right, so we can hear it across the world. He's blocking something that's potentially planetary, so maybe he could be planetary. You could scale it. Could scale it to universal, which on the note of universal, we do have movie 1, Memories of Nobody. And if you have seen the last video, you wouldn't know where this is going. So obviously we have Senna being a universal power, her being the rosary. So it literally creates an infinite space, an infinite time space. So that could be universal plus, actually, but it's at least universal. It's literally stated to have infinite amounts of souls in there. Not once, but twice. So it's literally an infinite space. Senna's literally being used as a battery for that. Senna literally got dogged by the villain, and Ichigo's like, all right, bro, I'm about to box him up. Ichigo literally beat him. So like, he literally just scales to that. So Memories of Nobody directly just universal plus. So if you want to argue that the Sogyoku also was just a universal threat, that would just make it more consistent. So I'm like, hey, it could just be consistent. Maybe Kubo knew what he was doing. Maybe Kubo out here playing 4D chess, perhaps. Who knows? But yeah, so that would be just universal. You can argue Sogyoku universal as well, argue planetary. So there are just these different things that you can do. Obviously, depending on how you scale it, obviously Yamamoto's like, yo, strong as Zanpakuto, so stronger than niggas like Byakuya, Shunsui, and Jushiro fight them. Like, there are just multiple different ways that you can scale the characters to each other. So it's just arbitration. Like, all right, who scales here, whatever, dude. Like, do whatever you want. But at the end of the day, this video was supposed to be about Ichigo. So Ichigo, anywhere from multi-city block to Universal Plus. So, oh, I also did want to mention, this is directly after the Soul Society arc. He doesn't even have his hollow power. So, like, there's not even a smidge, not even a pinch of his hollow power. Yo, my mic definitely peaked. I'm sorry for that, by the way. But, yeah, so, even when he's getting, like, negged, he doesn't show any signs of his hollow power. So, it's directly referenced in the manga as well. So, for people that are wondering, referencing the manga, this is directly after the Soul Society. He literally doesn't even, like, well, it's not even taking over him, dude. So, yeah, so just wanted to say that for those people that were curious. So, with that being said, please do like, comment, subscribe. I do have a video scaling the Espada, so go back to that if you want. I do love you, and with that being said, have a wonderful day. Bye.
The key to love is also loving yourself. Now, and love is a very complicated thing. Look at love like a game. Everything is a game. Look at love like a game. In order for your partner to respect you, you have to respect yourself. But in the same context, you also have to compromise for them. So it's a very complicated idea. I was disappointed because obviously no one will be able to compromise for me fully, because I would give my all and put my all into things, and I would just never be compensated for the love I would give. So as far as compromise, for one, don't put your pride in the fucking relationship. The shit doesn't work. It makes the shit harder than it needs to be. It makes it complicated. It makes everything hard. Do not put your ego in a relationship. Do not be afraid to blow up your lover's phone. It's the ones that are annoying that love you. It's the ones that will sit there and blow you up for hours and check on you 24/7 and annoy the fuck out of you that care. It's okay to be annoying. Don't try and publicize, like I'd say publicize your love in the same context, like show people you're happy. But when you start showing people what you got going on in your personal life, that's when people feel the need to get involved, or people get in the middle and fuck everything up. Keep your relationship to yourself.